Here are 5 micro habits that I cannot stop doing that take minimal effort of 5 minutes max and give you maximum reward when it comes to health and overall well-being. Some of them I've been doing for 3 years now, others I've adopted more recently, but I know that I'll keep doing them for a very long time because they clearly give me so much positive change and results and take me no time during the day. Number 1 is positive affirmations. I've talked about positive affirmations a lot on this channel, but they are truly so powerful. What if I told you that 5 minutes a day are enough to rewire your brain and change the way you think, feel, perceive the world, and show up in your life? All you have to do is press play on a recording of I am affirmations and then just say them back to you out loud with conviction. So an example would be, I have all the skills I need. I do this first thing in the morning while I make my breakfast, while on the toilet, while you can even be driving to the gym or the grocery store. It literally doesn't take any extra time or effort. You just have to repeat it day in and day out. And if you want a deeper dive into why it works so powerfully, how I use affirmations exactly, what my favorite recordings are and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to link this video up here. But here's the quick science behind it. Positive affirmations are kind of like the mental workouts for our brain. The more often you repeat them, the stronger your positive mindset muscles become. Because your brain isn't fixed. It's adaptable, it's flexible, it's plastic, and it has the ability to literally reshape itself based on what you repeatedly think, feel, and experience, which is called neuroplasticity. So every time you repeat a positive affirmation, you're carving out new neural pathways linked to optimism, self-belief, and motivation. And over time, those pathways become much stronger, to a point where positive thinking feels much more natural and not forced. This is also explained by Hebb's law, which says neurons that fire together wire together. In simple terms, this means what you repeatedly think, you reinforce. So yes, negative thought patterns can be very stubborn and hard to break. But the good news is that it also works in reverse. So when you consistently practice positive self-talk, your brain learns this as its new kind of default setting, which is one that supports your goals rather than sabotaging them. And there's more, because positive affirmations also activate the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain responsible for planning, clarity, and decision making. And it does all of that while also calming the amygdala, which is your stress and fear center. This means that it will give you lower cortisol, a softer stress response, more emotional resilience, and a calmer and clearer mind. Who doesn't want these things? So this isn't just like, oh, think more positively. This is actual brain power, and so powerful for such a micro habit, even with just a few minutes a day. But you have to be consistent with it. Micro habit number 2 is oil pulling. This is one of the most powerful things you can do for your teeth, gums, and immune system. And it takes nothing more than just a spoonful of oil each morning. Oil pulling is the practice of gently swishing oil in your mouth for like 5 to 20 minutes, and then obviously spitting it out, not swallowing it. First thing in the morning, before you brush your teeth, before you have breakfast, drink your coffee, all that kind of stuff. And doing it first thing in the morning really matters here, because overnight your mouth obviously accumulates all kinds of hundreds of bacteria, and that contributes to plaque, gum inflation, cavities, and bad breath. So you want to get rid of all that gunk, obviously, but just simply brushing your teeth alone isn't as effective as when you pair it with oil pulling, because oils, especially coconut oil, contain very powerful antimicrobial compounds. And when you swish the oil around in your mouth, it binds to those lipid-coated bacteria and literally pulls them away from your teeth and gums. Think of it almost like a little detox for your mouth in the morning. Research has shown that oil pulling can significantly reduce one of the main bacteria responsible for cavities, as well as visible signs of gum inflammation like bleeding, redness, and swelling. But there's a bonus that I've not found a lot of people talk about, that oil pulling leaves your mouth and even your throat deeply hydrated and moisturized. And that honestly made a huge difference in the frequencies of me catching colds and flus and that kind of stuff. I genuinely believe that oil pulling is one of the main reasons why I haven't caught a cold in over 2 years. Whenever I did get a cold, my flu symptoms used to always start in the throat first. I would get a sore throat, then it's like more tickly, chesty cough. But now I feel like with oil pulling in place, the bacteria never actually get a chance to settle and kind of linger, and my throat never feels dry or irritated because of the oil pulling. It also made such a huge difference in my dental health that at my very first professional teeth cleaning in 28 years, never had done it before, my dentist told me that if everyone had teeth like me, they wouldn't have any work to do. I was like, this is awesome. Thank you. So just saying that it really does wonders to protect your teeth and gums. Number 3 is the 5-minute journal or just practicing gratitude. I feel like you hear practicing gratitude everywhere. But they often don't explain what it actually does to your brain. Gratitude retrains your brain's filter system. Your brain is exposed to millions of stimuli every single second. But obviously it can't process everything. So your filter system is there to decide what of those million stimuli gets through to your consciousness. And by default, it's biased towards threats, problems, and kind of what's going wrong. Because evolutionary, that's what we needed to survive. But gratitude can actually change that bias. So when you write down the 3 things that you're grateful for, you're giving your brain a very clear instruction, which is this matters, prioritize this, and look for more of it. And the result is that your brain starts to filter the world, looking for more of those positive things, and therefore noticing more positives throughout the day. On a chemical level, gratitude also activates the brain's reward pathways. So it increases dopamine and serotonin, which then creates this measurable feedback loop. Feeling better, acting better, which leads to better outcomes, which is more to be grateful for. And just like positive affirmations, gratitude also regulates your nervous system. So it shifts your brain activity up in your prefrontal cortex and again down in the amygdala. So in other words, you have less reactivity and much more clarity. And to do this, I use the 5-minute journal, but the method obviously matters much more than the tool. So you can use anything. You can use a scrap piece of paper. You can do it mentally or just say them out loud, but just note 3 things that you're grateful for that day. And if you want to take it a step further, you can even add like an intention for the day. Like, how do you want to feel or show up? Micro habit number 4 are immunity shots. Okay, yes, this one does take more than 5 minutes, but only once a week. And I batch make it every single Sunday, store it in the fridge, and then it's a 10-second shot every morning before breakfast. I'll share the exact recipe here, but the process is super simple. You literally just whack all these ingredients in a blender, strain it, put it in the fridge, and then I portion mine into these small, cute little shot glasses because A, it's more convenient. I don't have to measure out a shot every single day, and also it's just way more fun to drink out of those than a normal glass. But with all these ingredients, what you're drinking is like targeted anti-inflammatory immune supporting fuel. And we all know that low-grade chronic inflammation weakens your immune system, drains your energy, and accelerates aging. And with modern life and like the stress and poor sleep and environmental toxins, even if you try really hard, some of that low-grade inflammation is unavoidable. So this shot is really designed to counteract that on a cellular level. I'm gonna put a little cheat sheet up with like all the different ingredients and why exactly they're so powerful, but believe me, this shot, your body will love you for it. But I do want to reiterate that taking it in the morning really does matter because overnight your body accumulates a lot of metabolic waste as well as free radicals. And so taking this shot right in the morning helps neutralize that oxidative stress and also kickstart digestion and just your body's energy. And the very last micro habit is dry brushing. It's very simple, very effective, and in my opinion, massively underestimated. As the name implies, you dry brush your skin. It's best to use a natural bristle brush, no oils, no products, and then you just brush from the feet and hands upwards towards your heart. Always use light to moderate pressure, don't overdo it. And in total, I spend about 2 to 5 minutes, roughly 25 long strokes per body part. And the real benefit here is lymphatic. As you may know, your lymphatic system is responsible for removing toxins, waste, and immune byproducts. But unlike your blood, your lymph has no pump. So it doesn't circulate automatically and relies entirely on 2 things: movement or mechanical stimulation. And dry brushing does exactly that. By mechanically stimulating the lymph vessels beneath your skin, you increase that lymph flow. And so the result is that you improve waste removal, reduce fluid retention puffiness, you have a stronger immune surveillance, and you often even have an improved appearance of cellulite. The main reason I do it though is to support those detox pathways. Because your skin is a major elimination organ. You don't just detox through your liver and kidneys, you also eliminate quite a bit of waste through your sweat, through the skin. And so dry brushing really supports that kind of whole process. And another bonus for me is that dry brushing really helps exfoliating dead skin cells, which is awesome if you live in a very dry climate like we do in New Mexico. So you get that smoother skin texture, fewer clogged pores, and significantly better absorption from your moisturizers, which is obviously really important if you have a humidity of 10%. And so I also always do it before stepping into the shower, because that way I can then just wash off all the exfoliated skin, but then also finish with warm water, which further increases blood circulation and get more out of my lotion, body lotion afterwards. And if you now want to know exactly what I do to stay illness-free for 2 years now, then subscribe here because that video is going to come up next. Otherwise, you can also click here to watch my deep dive into positive affirmations, why they're so powerful, and how they have absolutely changed my life. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you over there. Bye.